Well, hello everybody and welcome to a new video. In this video, I will approach the question, what makes a good bench, or what makes a good bench good, if you know what I mean. Now, I will do this based on the following 5 criteria: location, material, size and shape, activities to do on or around the bench, and safety. Now, safety and location might overlap, as you will see, but I found safety so important that I kind of want to talk about it separately. Now, location. Let's start with location. Obviously, the best bench is always the one closest to you when you need it, in a way. But I think still, in terms of location, some aspects could be mentioned. Now, on this first example here, we see a nice wooden bench standing on the side of a mountain in a very natural sort of area, perfect for hikers, especially after a long hike when you just want to take a little break. Easy 10 out of 10 for location. And this one, as a more urban example, great location as well. We have something to look at. A view is important for location, as well as accessibility, which is, I think, why it's important to have just a lot of benches, because you never know when people will actually need them. But here, I like this example a lot because you can see it's winter and still someone sits on it. You know, it might be 0 degrees. How much is that in Fahrenheit? 35 Fahrenheit, and still someone sits on it because of the spectacular view, the sunshine. So location, put a bench somewhere where there is something to see or where you think people would need it. And by you, I mean local governments, city governments, whoever is in charge of putting benches. And I mean generally, if the question is put a bench or not, always yes. But location is important. Now the next aspect that maybe is less obvious is the one of material. Now, what materials are used for benches? Well, wood, steel, some kind of metal, concrete, plastic as well, if you have some kind of flexible, movable design thing, which can be nice in some sort of pocket park situations, but generally, yeah, well, you know, but wood, perhaps in combination with steel to give it some structural integrity, is nice. Now, this example here I like especially because the wood is kind of, it looks very friendly, it looks organic, it looks like it would be nice to sit there. As we can see, someone does as well on this picture. Here we have a concrete example that is also very organic looking, friendly, inviting. Perhaps the person alone would feel a little bit lost, but still, I think out of concrete you could make very nice benches. I'm not sure what's cheaper, probably the wooden option. I actually don't know. I mean, concrete is pretty damn cheap. Here we have, and this brings me already to the third category, size and shape, a version out of metal. Now, metal has the obvious disadvantage of, if the sun in a warm country in summer hits it, it gets very, very hot, and in winter it's just unbearably cold, and you have the risk of hemorrhoids and all sorts of other things. And this particular example is, yeah, my most disliked bench design. It's not comfortable to sit, it doesn't look inviting, and the most annoying part of it is it doesn't even look cheap. Like, someone still put some thought into it to come up with this. It reminds me of the kind of benches you would find outside of like 90s shopping centers. But yeah, it's not very inviting. And yeah, despite this being a nice picture, no, it just doesn't. I mean, you're in the middle of the sun, there's no tree, you have some stupid ass lamp next to you. And the most annoying thing is always this like gap between where you lean on and the sitting area, where you would lose a phone, everything would kind of slip in there or fall through. I don't know. And the color, this green, I don't know. I'm a big fan of, like, if you use metal, then don't color it. If you use wood, then keep it in a wooden color, don't paint it blue. And, you know, if you use concrete, keep it in a concrete color. It's like some kind of material honesty that I'm trying to advocate, but I understand if people have different preferences. This one is something I would say we do see frequently nowadays, more and more at least. And this is the kind of example that would be found in a sort of newly designed urban plaza where, you know, the designers or architects wanted to be innovative. You can even see how it's placed on this grid pattern there. And I mean, no one ever will lay on it like it's intended to lay on. You can still sit on it, but I don't know, it's just strange, it's unnecessary. I don't know, it is really, actually, I mean, I really don't like that. And probably the worst of it all is that this is even more expensive than some simple nice wooden bench, but it wouldn't fit the overall design criteria of this place. Yeah. Well, this one is technically not a bench. I get that. If you have that opinion, I totally understand that. And I have also not included any stone walls, any porches, any windowsills, like all sorts of other nice things, especially in urban areas where you can sit on stones. In a more rural area, you know, you can sit on all sorts of things. You can sit on the grass or on the ground if you like. But this one I still wanted to include because I've encountered it a few times in my personal life. The chair that's used as a bench, permanently installed, where there otherwise would have been a bench, here a chair for single people, for people alone. Still you can sit there with two people. Sometimes you can arrange them. Sometimes these chairs come in the exactly same design like a bench would, so you can clearly see that, you know, the bench came first as a thought and then it became a chair. And I kind of like that because it's something else. And, you know, if I'm just by myself, I don't feel like all too alone on a big bench, you know. This is meant for people alone, but if you don't come alone, you can still sit with your friends. So I really like that. You know, different sizes matter a lot to your personal feeling of, do I feel lost or do I feel like welcomed here? Activity-wise, if a bench allows you to do something like this with your beloved one, yeah, what does it say about the bench? Well, in this case, it's a nice place where it is put by the sea, you know, that's nice. There's also no tree, as far as I can tell, at least I don't see any shade of it necessarily, but still the bench is in a nice place and somehow it works. And, you know, the thing to lean on is in that height that, you know, this guy can put the arm around her, and I'm sure if she wanted to, she can put her arm around him. And it kind of just works. If something works or not, you should always see what people use it for. That makes it kind of clear if something works or not, and if people just kind of sit and are aware of their surroundings, then maybe it doesn't work. But if they do read a book, or if they do something like this, doing some yoga, meditation, calmness on the bench, I would say it's a big success. Here we see that this the sitting area on this bench is wide enough so that this woman can actually meditate a bit, and this bush next to her is also helping the atmosphere a lot. And, you know, at the same time, it's by a path, it's by a road, so that's probably still something where people frequent, where people walk by, but still somehow the bench is tucked away. You can see it's actually standing slightly behind the path, so it's clearly meant as a sort of like more calmer resting place. And this is what I mean, you know. I mean, these photos might be staged. I mean, these are like some kind of stock photos almost. But yeah, it still shows what is imaginable people think of when they see a certain bench. Also a wooden one, very nice, very nice. In summer, of course, yes, I get you, mosquitoes, wasps, yeah. Well, the last aspect I want to talk about is the one of safety. I chose this particular example because you can see the bench is sort of like yeah, probably by a bus stop. I mean, it kind of looks like bus stop-ish. I don't even know why. But it's sort of tucked between these pillars, and you have a wall in the back, and the guy is looking around, and you can clearly see your surroundings, like you know what's coming. And, you know, it might not be so relevant for all of you, but for some, of course, safety is more important than location, more important than anything else. You know, if you're slow, or if you're small, or if you feel vulnerable, or if you just don't want to be bothered by anyone, you know how it goes in big cities nowadays, or in smaller ones as well. Then you want to choose a bench where you can see your surroundings, maybe where you're a little bit elevated, where there's maybe a wall or like a cover on one side. This example kind of shows the opposite. Obviously this person is sleeping there, but it's not, I think, because this person feels super safe. And actually, you know, this bench it's interesting because, like, it looks nice, but at the same time you see that the handrails are so that someone cannot sleep on it. And it's also completely standing next to where, in this case, a tram goes by, and there's no wall. You're kind of in the open, and everything that is dear to you, you have to kind of hold tight in front of you so that no one would steal it when you just sit there. It's clearly not a bench where you want to sit for a long time unless you need to. Yeah, and it's kind of sometimes funny to think about these things because, like, I mean, something might look nice, but is it really thought through? And something might not look nice, but actually turn out to be a super bench. And I've often found that the places I end up liking a lot are places that are not even maybe, or like benches that are not even designed to be that great. They're just in a great a spot where maybe not many people pass by, but that's still sort of central, or still not completely in some dark alleyway on the side. And yeah, so I think if I can give a little very personal summary. I mean, you have different experience with different benches, but my personal summary is that wooden benches feel better, still need some thought. I mean, just because wood is used doesn't mean it looks nice. I mean, if they are a little bit used and wood and maybe some steel foundation, they feel sturdy, they feel comfortable, they appeal. Location wise, yeah, near an exit, near a big road, near something, but not on it necessarily, preferably with one side covered, and preferably so that you don't feel lost yourself, but you can also be there with somebody else. So the size is important, not too long, not too short, you know, if it was a meter or something. And yeah, and the rest is really depending on where it is, what's the weather, if there's any cover from the rain. Can you go somewhere in case the weather changes? Can you go somewhere in case you're being approached by, you know, someone who won't leave you alone? All these questions that are relevant from time to time to people. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I see you for the next video.